Commander Maya Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of the TRS Prometheus, her eyes fixed on the holographic projection of humanity's lost home. Earth, once blue and vibrant, now pulsed with an alien energy signature that made her stomach turn. 200 years of Tarketh occupation had transformed the planet into something barely recognizable. "Fleet status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. "All 67 ships accounted for, Commander," Lieutenant James Okoro responded, his dark fingers dancing across the neural interface. "The quantum dampeners are primed and operating at optimal efficiency." Maya nodded, remembering the day humanity discovered that Exarcheth's critical weakness. It had been a fluke, a solar flare that temporarily disrupted their bioneural network during a routine surveillance mission. That single moment of vulnerability had given humanity the key to reclaiming their ancestral home. The Terran Reclamation Fleet represented humanity's greatest achievement since their forced exodus, while that Exarcheth had expected them to wither and die in the cold reaches of space. Humanity had instead forged itself into something new. Each ship in the fleet was a testament to human ingenuity. Hybrid vessels that could operate on both advanced quantum systems and primitive analog technology. "Message from Admiral Kai," James announced. "The Chinese-African Alliance fleet is in position. They're awaiting your signal." Maya allowed herself a small smile. 2 centuries ago, the Exarcheth had exploited humanity's divisions to defeat them. Now, united by loss and hardened by determination, Earth's children were returning as one. The ship's AI, Araya, manifested as a subtle blue glow in Maya's peripheral vision. "Commander, I've completed the analysis of the Tarketh defense grid. Their quantum entanglement network has evolved significantly since our last intelligence-gathering mission. However, the fundamental architecture remains unchanged. They never expected us to understand their technology, did they?" Maya mused. 200 years of unchallenged supremacy made them complacent. The briefing room filled with the fleet's senior officers, their faces bearing the same mix of anticipation and gravity that Maya felt in her own heart. Each of them carried the stories of their ancestors, tales of the Great Exodus, passed down through generations. "Operation Homecoming begins in 6 hours," Maya announced, activating the tactical display. The Exarcheth believe they created an impenetrable fortress around Earth. Their entire civilization depends on their quantum network. For communication, for defense, even for their basic biological functions. When we trigger our dampeners, they'll experience something they haven't faced in millennia. Silence. Captain Alina Volkov, her second in command, stepped forward. "The resistance cells on Europa have confirmed that the Exarcheth's bioengineering makes them completely dependent on their network. Without it, they're practically paralyzed. Which is why timing is crucial," Maya continued. "The dampeners will give us a window of approximately 47 minutes before their backup systems engage. In that time, we need to breach their orbital defenses and establish groundside beachheads at these key points." She highlighted several locations on the holographic Earth. The room fell silent as Maya walked around the tactical display, her hand passing through the holographic representation of their home world. 200 years ago, humanity faced a choice: adapt or perish. We chose to adapt. We learned to combine the best of our past with the innovations of our future. Every ship in this fleet can function without quantum technology because we never forgot our roots. She looked at each officer in turn, seeing in their eyes the same fire that burned in her own. The Exarcheth think they know humanity. They think they know what we're capable of. They remember us as we were, divided, vulnerable, easily conquered. But we are no longer those people. We carry within us not just the memory of Earth, but the wisdom earned through 2 centuries of survival. Maya's voice hardened. "In 6 hours, we show them exactly what humanity has become. Prepare your crews. Update your analog backups. When we trigger those dampeners, I want every ship ready to fight with technology from any era of human history." As the officers filed out, Elena lingered behind. "Maya," she said softly, "my great-grandmother used to tell me stories about the gardens of Earth. She said the air smelled like life itself." Maya touched her friend's shoulder. "Soon, Elena. Soon we'll all know that smell for ourselves." The next 6 hours passed in a blur of preparation. Maya walked through her ship, speaking with crew members, checking systems, and ensuring every contingency was covered. That Exarcheth had superior numbers and technology, but humanity had something they could never understand: the burning desire to reclaim their birthright. As the final minutes ticked down, Maya returned to the bridge. Earth filled the view screen, its surface crisscrossed with the alien architecture of its occupiers. Somewhere down there, beneath those foreign structures, the soil of humanity's homeland waited. "All ships report ready," James announced. "Quantum dampeners charged and synchronized." Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of 200 years of exile, of preparation, of hope, and of determination. When she spoke, her voice carried the strength of every human who had dreamed of this moment since the day Earth was lost. "Begin Operation Homecoming. Activate dampeners. Send word to all ships. Today, we take back what's ours." The fleet moved forward as one, and in the silence of space, humanity's children began their journey home. The quantum dampeners activated simultaneously across all 67 ships of the Turan Reclamation Fleet. For a fraction of a second, space itself seemed to shudder as the wave of anti-quantum energy spread outward, invisible but devastating in its effect. Through the Prometheus's view screen, Maya watched as the ethereal glow of the Exarcheth defense grid flickered and died. Their mighty orbital platforms, each the size of a small moon, went dark. The beautiful but alien architecture that had defaced Earth's surface for 2 centuries suddenly lost its luminescence. "Dampeners functioning at optimal levels," James reported, his hands moving across the analog backup controls. "Exarcheth communications are completely silent. No quantum signatures detected." Maya's voice rang across the bridge. "All ships, switch to Operation Darwin protocols. Conventional weapons only. Begin the approach." The human fleet surged forward, their engines burning with cold fusion fire, another primitive technology that Exarcheth had dismissed centuries ago. As they drew closer, the true scale of what humanity faced became apparent. The Exarcheth had transformed Earth into a fortress world, its surface barely recognizable beneath massive organic mechanical structures that reached into the upper atmosphere. "Multiple launches detected," Elena announced from her tactical station. "They're deploying their autonomous defense units." Maya had expected this. Even without their quantum network, the Exarcheth had impressive defensive capabilities. Thousands of crystalline shapes emerged from the orbital platforms, their forms beautiful but lethal. Under normal circumstances, these units would have been coordinated by the quantum network, making them nearly invincible. Now they moved erratically, their actions uncoordinated and predictable. "Launch interceptors," Maya ordered. "Remind our pilots. No quantum targeting systems. Use their eyes and instincts." The space around Earth erupted in chaos as human fighters engaged the Exarcheth defensive units. The battle that followed would have seemed primitive to the Exarcheth, but it showcased humanity's greatest strength: their ability to adapt and fight with whatever tools were available. "Commander," James's voice cut through the chaos, "I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations from the surface. The Exarcheth are attempting to reboot their network." Maya smiled grimly. "Right on schedule. Lieutenant Parker, deploy the resonance pods." Hundreds of small devices launched from the human ships, descending toward Earth's atmosphere. These pods, containing specialized quantum disruption technology, would ensure that any attempt to restore the Exarcheth network would fail. "First wave of ground teams reports ready," Elena announced. "Drop ships prepped and waiting for your command." Maya studied the tactical display, where key insertion points had been identified. The first wave would be crucial, establishing beachheads on humanity's home soil for the first time in 2 centuries. Priority targets are the environmental control centers, Maya reminded her officers. Our intel suggests that Exarcheth have transformed Earth's ecosystem to suit their physiology. We need to secure those facilities before they can trigger any fail-safe protocols. The battle in orbit continued as the first wave of dropships began their descent. The Exarcheth, despite their technological superiority, found themselves fighting an enemy that had spent 2 centuries preparing for this exact scenario. Human ships, equipped with both advanced technology and reliable mechanical backups, proved remarkably effective against their confused defenders. Commander, Araya's voice carried an unusual note of urgency. I'm detecting significant biological readings from the surface. The Exarcheth appear to be evolving in response to the network shutdown. Maya had feared something like this. Show me. The tactical display shifted, showing thermal images of the Exarcheth on the surface. Their bodies were changing, adapting to function without the quantum network. It was both impressive and terrifying. A reminder that humanity wasn't the only species capable of evolution under pressure. All ground teams, be advised. Maya broadcast. Expect heavy resistance. The Exarcheth are adapting faster than anticipated. Maintain quantum dampening fields at all times and remember your training. Elena moved to Maya's side, her voice low. The environmental readings from the surface, they're worse than our worst projections. The Exarcheth haven't just occupied Earth, they've fundamentally altered its biosphere. Maya nodded grimly. The images showed vast areas where the original ecosystem had been completely replaced by Exarcheth bioengineered alternatives. The oceans glowed with artificial bioluminescence, and the continents were covered in alien vegetation that pulsed with internal energy. That's why the second phase is crucial, Maya replied. The terraforming teams are ready. Yes. Dr. Patel confirms the biorestoration pods are prepped. Once we secure the environmental control centers, we can begin reversing the damage. A massive explosion lit up the view screen as one of the orbital platforms finally succumbed to the human assault. The Exarcheth's mighty defenses, designed to repel enemies using advanced technology, proved vulnerable to the simple kinetic weapons humanity had brought to bear. Ground Team Alpha has secured their first objective, James reported. They're encountering heavy resistance but holding their position. Teams Bravo through Echo are proceeding to their targets. Maya watched as more dropships descended through Earth's atmosphere, carrying soldiers and scientists determined to reclaim their ancestral home. The battle was far from over. The Exarcheth would not give up Earth easily, but humanity had achieved something remarkable. They had breached the defenses of the most advanced civilization in known space using technology that spanned centuries of human innovation. Send word to Admiral Kai, Maya ordered. Begin Phase 2 of the operation. It's time to show the Exarcheth that we're not just here to take back our planet, we're here to heal it. As the battle raged around them, Maya couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity had not just survived their exile. They had turned it into an opportunity to become something greater. Now, standing on the brink of reclaiming Earth, they would prove that their greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons, but their unwavering determination to come home. The first indication that something was different came during Ground Team Delta's sweep of the old Himalayan region. Captain Marcus Wong's voice crackled over the secure analog channel, tense with disbelief. Command, we're detecting human life signs. I repeat, human life signs. They're not from our forces. Maya leaned forward in her command chair, exchanging sharp glances with Elena. The notion of human survivors on Earth, after 2 centuries of Exarcheth occupation, seemed impossible. Their intelligence had always suggested the aliens had been thorough in their conquest. Confirm those readings, Maya ordered, and approach with caution. This could be a Exarcheth trap. The ground team's helmet cameras showed a landscape that barely resembled the Himalayas of old. The mighty mountains remained, but they were now threaded with luminescent veins of Exarcheth biotechnology. The snow was gone, replaced by fields of crystalline structures that hummed with residual energy, even with the quantum network down. Movement ahead, Marcus reported. They're human, but different. The footage showed figures emerging from what appeared to be a seamless part of the mountain wall. They moved with practiced stealth, their bodies wrapped in adaptive camouflage that seemed to be a hybrid of human and Exarcheth technology. Their leader stepped forward, lowering a hood to reveal distinctly human features marked with bioluminescent patterns. "I am Zara Patil," the woman announced, her accent unlike anything Maya had heard before. "We are the children of Earth, and we've been waiting for you." Over the next hour, as ground operations continued across the planet, an incredible story emerged. When the Exarcheth invaded, not all humans had fled. Some had gone deep underground, into ancient bunkers and natural cave systems. Over generations, these survivors had adapted to live in the shadow of their conquerors, developing their own hybrid technology and learning to exploit weaknesses in Exarcheth systems. "We number nearly 1 million, Zara explained during an emergency briefing, her hologram standing proud in the Prometheus's command center. Spread across hidden enclaves throughout Earth's major mountain ranges, we've spent generations studying the Exarcheth, learning their vulnerabilities, and preparing for this moment." Maya studied the tactical data the Resistance provided. It was a treasure trove of intelligence. Detailed maps of Exarcheth installations, weaknesses in their biological systems, and most importantly, the location of their primary genesis chambers where new Exarcheth were grown. "There's something else you need to know," Zora continued, her expression growing grave. "The Exarcheth are not united. Their society is fracturing. The evolutionists, led by Archinvorex, believe in aggressive expansion and complete planetary transformation. But there's another faction, the synthesists, who advocate for balance and coexistence." This information changed everything. Elena quickly pulled up new tactical overlays, showing how different regions of Earth were controlled by different Exarcheth factions. The evolutionists held most of the environmental control centers, while the synthesists maintained a stronger presence in the former Pacific regions. "Commander," Aoraya interjected, "I'm detecting unusual activity in the Exarcheth communication attempts. They appear to be using old Earth radio frequencies." Moments later, a transmission cut through their tactical channels. The voice was distinctly Exarcheth, but speaking perfect English. "This is Arkshan Catalan of the Synthesist Coalition. To the human fleet, we wish to parley." Maya's bridge crew turned to her, awaiting her decision. The next few moments could reshape the entire operation. "Verify the transmission source," she ordered, then turned to Zora's hologram. "What can you tell me about this Kylon?" "The synthesists under Kylon have protected several of our enclaves," Zara replied. "They've been studying human history, trying to understand us. Some even believe the aggressive conquest of Earth was a mistake." The tactical situation was already complex, but this added another layer of intricacy. The Turan Reclamation Fleet had come prepared for a straightforward war of liberation. Now they faced the possibility of a three-way conflict, with potential allies among the very species they'd come to fight. "Ground Team Alpha reports heavy resistance at Environmental Control Center 1, James announced. "The evolutionists are using some kind of biological weapons, spores that eat through our protective gear." Maya made her decision. "Open a channel to Kylon, but keep our quantum dampeners active. Elena, redirect our second wave to support Alpha Team. Zara, I need your people to guide our forces through the mountain passages. If we're going to win this, we need to hit the evolutionists hard while we still have the advantage." As the orders went out, Maya watched the tactical display update with new information from the Resistance. The children of Earth had spent generations preparing for this moment, developing an intricate understanding of their occupied world. Their knowledge, combined with the fleet's military might and the potential alliance with the synthesists, could turn the tide. "All forces be advised," Maya broadcast. "Rules of engagement have been updated. Exarcheth forces are to be identified by faction before engagement. Synthesist signatures will be marked in blue, evolutionist in red. The resistance forces, our Earth-bound cousins, will be designated in green. The battle for Earth had evolved into something far more complex than a simple reconquest. It had become a struggle not just for territory, but for the very definition of what Earth could be. As Maya coordinated the increasingly complex operation, she realized that victory might require more than just military strength. It would demand the wisdom to know when to fight and when to forge new alliances. The evolutionists are moving something massive beneath the Pacific, Zara reported suddenly. Something they've been building for centuries. Whatever it is, it's starting to wake up. Maya straightened in her chair. The day had already brought numerous surprises, but something told her the biggest challenges still lay ahead. "Show me," she ordered, preparing herself for whatever new revelation Earth's long occupation had produced. The massive form rising from the Pacific defied description. Through the Prometheus's enhanced imaging systems, Maya watched as something that looked like a cross between a mountain and a living organism breached the surface. Its crystalline structures pulsed with internal light, and massive tentacle-like appendages, each the size of a city, reached toward the sky. "By all that's holy," Elena whispered, "what have they built?" Zara's hologram flickered as she accessed ancient resistance records. "We've seen fragments of their plans. The evolutionists call it the World Seed. It's designed to completely transform Earth's biosphere within days, not just the surface, but the entire planetary ecosystem down to the core." The tactical display showed the massive construct continuing to rise, its presence causing gravitational distortions that their ship's sensors could barely process. Around it, the ocean churned with bioluminescent energy, as if the very water was being transformed by its presence. Archon Kilon's forces are engaging the evolutionist fleet over the Indian Ocean, James reported. The synthesists are trying to prevent them from activating a second seed structure. Maya's mind raced through options. The quantum dampeners had given them the initial advantage, but this was something else entirely. The World Seed appeared to operate on principles that transcended both quantum and conventional physics. "Commander," Araya's voice carried an urgent tone. "Dr. Patel's biorestoration team has completed their analysis. The World Seed isn't just transforming the Earth, it's using Earth's original biosphere as a template, but twisting it into something else. If it fully activates, there will be nothing left of the planet we once knew." Maya opened a channel to all forces. "This is Commander Rodriguez. All units converge on the Pacific site. This is now our primary objective. Ground teams, coordinate with resistance forces and redirect to coastal positions. Fleet units, prepare for close orbit operations." The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries to come. Human ships, working in concert with synthesist vessels, engaged the evolutionist forces defending the World Seed. The resistance fighters, led by Zara, guided ground teams through hidden passages to strike at the Seed's surface anchors. "Multiple evolutionist genesis chambers detected," Elena reported. "They're spawning combat forms we've never seen before, some kind of hybrid between their normal warriors and the World Seed's architecture." The space above Earth became a chaos of battle. The synthesists proved to be valuable allies, their ships complementing human tactics in ways that suggested they'd been studying more than just human history. But the evolutionists fought with the desperation of zealots who believed they were fulfilling their species' destiny. "Team Alpha has reached the primary anchor point," Marcus reported from the ground. "But we've got a problem. The biological interface. It's accepting commands in human DNA patterns. They've built this thing to respond to human genetic codes." Maya turned to Zora's hologram. "Is that possible? Could they have incorporated human DNA into their supreme weapon?" "Of course." Zora's eyes widened with realization. "They didn't just study us as enemies. They studied us as a species that had already shaped this world. They must have realized that Earth's biosphere still carries the imprint of humanity's long presence." A plan began to form in Maya's mind. "Dr. Patel, can we use the biorestoration pods to interface with the World Seed? Not to destroy it, but to redirect it." The chief scientist's response was cautious but hopeful. The pods were designed to restore Earth's original ecosystem. If the seed is actually keyed to human DNA patterns, we might be able to hijack its protocols. But we'd need an enormous amount of power, more than our ships can generate. What about the synthesis chips? Maya turned to the tactical display, where Kilon's forces were still engaged in battle. Their bioreactors operate on a different scale than ours. The next hour was a blur of coordinated chaos. While the battle raged around them, human scientists worked with synthesist engineers to modify the biorestoration pods. The resistance provided crucial data about Earth's original ecosystem, preserved through generations of hidden observation. "Commander," James's voice cut through the chaos. "The seed is beginning its final activation sequence. We're detecting massive energy buildups across all monitored frequencies." Maya watched as the massive construct's crystalline surfaces began to pulse with increasing intensity. The ocean around it started to transform, the water itself seeming to come alive with alien energy. "All ships, execute Operation Genesis," Maya commanded. "Resistance teams, clear the coastal areas. Dr. Patel, begin the interface sequence." Hundreds of modified biorestoration pods, now powered by synthesist energy cores, descended toward the world seed. As they made contact with its surface, the massive structures pulsing changed rhythm. The alien patterns of light began to shift, taking on new configurations. "It's working," Dr. Peddle reported, his voice tense with concentration. "The seed is accepting the original Earth biosphere patterns as primary templates, but the power requirements are astronomical. The synthesis chips can't maintain this level of output for long." Maya opened a channel to Kilon. "Archon, we need everything you've got. Every joule of power your ships can generate." The synthesist leader's response was immediate. "All ships, direct full power to the human devices. Let us help heal what our species has damaged." The world seed's transformation was visible from orbit. The alien patterns of light began to integrate with natural patterns of Earth's original ecosystem. Rather than forcing a complete transformation, it was being reprogrammed to restore and enhance what had once been. But the evolutionists weren't done yet. Their leader, Archon Varex, launched a desperate final assault on both human and synthesist positions. The battle reached a fever pitch as everything hung in the balance, not just the fight for Earth, but the future of two species and a planet they both claimed as home. The battle for Earth's future reached its crescendo above the transformed Pacific. The world seed, now pulsing with the combined patterns of both Earth's original biosphere and Exarcheth evolutionary science, had become a nexus of possibility, a tool that could either restore or destroy, depending on who controlled it. Archon Varex's flagship, a massive living vessel that seemed to blend seamlessly with its commander's own biological form, burst through the synthesis defense line. "You understand nothing." His transmission boomed across all frequencies. "Evolution demands transformation. Earth was meant to ascend beyond its primitive state." Maya watched as the evolutionist forces concentrated their attack on the network of biorestoration pods. They were trying to sever the connection before the reprogramming could be completed. "All ships, hold the line," she commanded. "We didn't come this far to lose Earth again." The resistance fighters, led by Zora, had transformed the coastal regions into a battleground that favored their hybrid tactics. Using centuries of accumulated knowledge about both human and Exarcheth technology, they created havoc among the evolutionist ground forces. Their advanced camouflage systems, combined with intimate knowledge of Earth's transformed terrain, made them nearly invisible until the moment they struck. "Commander," Elena called out, "the synthesist ships are reaching critical power levels. Their bioreactors can't sustain this output much longer." On the tactical display, Maya could see the strain showing in their ally ships. The synthesist vessels were literally burning out their own biological components to power the transformation. It was a sacrifice that spoke volumes about their commitment to making amends for their species' past actions. "Incoming." James shouted as Varex's flagship launched what looked like living missiles, biological weapons that adapted and evolved as they flew, making them nearly impossible to track or intercept. But humanity had learned from its exile. The Terran fleet's point defense systems operated on multiple technological levels simultaneously. Quantum-guided interceptors worked alongside simple kinetic barriers and electromagnetic pulses. What one system missed, another caught. Dr. Patel, Maya opened a channel to the science team. What's the status of the World Seed's transformation? We're at a crucial junction. The scientist replied. The Seed's original programming is fighting against our modifications, but there's something else. The Earth itself is responding. The planet's original biosphere, dormant but not dead, is resonating with our restoration patterns. That was when Maya saw it, something none of their sensors had detected. Beneath the waves, beneath the Exarcheth's centuries of transformation, Earth's original life force had survived. Like seeds wading through a long winter, the fundamental patterns of Earth's ecosystem had endured. All ships, execute Protocol Gaia, Maya commanded. This was the contingency they'd hoped they wouldn't need. A full power transfer from every human vessel to the restoration pods. It would leave them vulnerable. But with the synthesist's strength failing, they had no choice. The effect was immediate and stunning. As power flowed from the human fleet, the World Seed's crystalline structure began to pulse with new patterns, not just the program templates from the restoration pods, but actual biological signals from Earth itself. The planet was awakening, using the Seed's own network to reassert its original nature. Varex's forces pressed their attack, but now they faced a challenge they hadn't anticipated. The very transformations they had made to Earth were being turned against them. The biological weapons they launched found themselves drawn to the World Seed's powerful resonance, their adaptive nature becoming a weakness as Earth's resurgent biosphere called to the living material within them. Multiple detonations in the evolutionist fleet, Elena reported. Their bioweapons are turning back on them. Their ship's living components are responding to the Earth patterns. Maya opened a channel to all forces. This is Commander Rodriguez. All human and synthesist ships, concentrate fire on Varex's flagship. The World Seed is connecting with Earth's original biosphere. We need to buy it time to complete the integration. The combined fleet moved with precision born of desperation. Human ships, operating on backup power, provided covering fire, while synthesist vessels used the remaining energy to launch precise strikes at their former leader's defenses. The resistance forces, coordinating through their ancient underground networks, triggered hidden devices that had been planted centuries ago, waiting for this moment. Varex's final transmission was cut short as his flagship, caught between the restored World Seed's resonance and the combined fleet's assault, began to break apart. The evolutionist forces, seeing their leader fall and their bioweapons fail, started to retreat from Earth's orbit. But the true transformation was just beginning. The World Seed, now fully integrated with Earth's original biosphere, began to pulse with a new rhythm. From orbit, Maya and her crew watched in awe as waves of restoration spread across the planet's surface. The alien structures didn't vanish. Instead, they began to merge with Earth's natural systems, creating something entirely new. Analysis coming in, Dr. Patel reported, his voice filled with wonder. The Seed isn't just restoring Earth's ecosystem, it's enhancing it. The Exarcheth modifications are being repurposed, integrated into Earth's natural cycles. It's beautiful. Zara's hologram appeared on the bridge, her bioluminescent markings glowing with excitement. The underground springs are running clear again. We're detecting native species, dormant for centuries, beginning to reemerge. Earth remembers itself. In the days that followed, as the dust of battle settled, the true scope of what had been achieved became clear. Earth was transforming once again, but this time into something that honored both its original nature and the advancements that had been forced upon it. The synthesists, under Kilon's leadership, worked alongside humans to guide the restoration process. 1 month after the battle, Maya stood on actual Earth soil for the first time in her life. The air smelled different than she had imagined, not quite the Earth of historical records, but something new and vital. Around her, the landscape was a harmonious blend of the familiar and the alien. Crystal formations that had once served the exarcheth now channeled and purified water for Earth's restored ecosystems. Modified atmospheric processors that had been designed to alter Earth's climate now worked to heal and stabilize it. "What do we call this?" Elena asked, standing beside her friend as they watched a flock of birds, a species that had survived in hidden resistance enclaves, soar past a towering structure of living crystal. Maya smiled, watching as human children played alongside young synthesists in a field where Earth flowers bloomed among bioluminescent grass. "We call it home," she said, "not the home we left, but the home we made together." Above them, the combined fleet of human and synthesist ships kept watch, a symbol of how far both species had come. Earth was reborn, not as a purely human world or a exarcheth transformation, but as something greater, a testament to the power of adaptation, cooperation, and the enduring spirit of life itself.